You haven't talked in days, maybe weeks, maybe even months. No texts, no calls, no signs. And yet, what if I told you that you can still be on their mind right now? Even if they don't reach out, even if they act like you don't exist anymore. It sounds hard to accept because your mind has been trained to believe that if there is no communication, there is no connection. You start assuming that silence means you've been forgotten, replaced, or erased from their world. But that assumption is not truth. It is just a surface level interpretation of something much deeper. The reality is, human connection does not operate only on visible actions. There is something constantly working beneath the surface, and that is thought energy. Every time you think about someone, you are not just remembering them, you are directing energy toward them. This is happening instantly, without delay and without effort. Before your thought even completes, that energy has already reached them in a subtle way. At the same time, that same energy reflects back to you and shapes how you feel, how you behave, and how you see the situation. Now understand this carefully, because this is where most people unknowingly push things in the wrong direction. They think about the person all the time, but their thoughts are filled with negativity, fear, and doubt. They keep repeating things like, why are they ignoring me? Why don't they care? What did I do wrong? Are they happier without me? These thoughts feel natural because you are emotionally involved, but they are also heavy. And that heaviness is exactly what you are sending out. When that kind of energy reaches the other person, it does not pull them closer. It creates resistance. They may not consciously realize it, but they feel a certain discomfort, a certain pressure, a certain emotional weight. And naturally, people move away from what feels heavy and confusing. This is why sometimes the more you miss someone, the more distant they seem to become. It feels unfair, but it is actually a reflection of the energy being exchanged. The shift begins when you stop focusing on how much you think about them and start focusing on how you think about them. Because it is not the frequency that matters, it is the quality. You can think about someone constantly and still create attraction, or you can think about them constantly and create distance. The difference lies in the emotional tone of your thoughts. This is where awareness becomes your strongest tool. Start observing your thoughts like an outsider. Notice what your mind does automatically when this person comes up. Do you go straight into negative scenarios, or do you allow calm and neutral thoughts to exist? Do you assume the worst, or do you leave space for positive possibilities? This awareness is the first step, because without it, you will keep repeating the same patterns without even realizing it. The moment you catch a negative thought, don't let it grow. Interrupt it immediately by saying out loud, delete, delete, delete. Say it with intention, not casually. This action might feel simple, but it is powerful because it breaks the thought pattern instantly. Your mind cannot continue the same loop once it has been consciously interrupted. And once you stop that negative flow, you create space to replace it with something better. Right after deleting the thought, replace it with something positive and supportive. For example, if your mind says, they don't care about you, shift it to, they are thinking about you in a calm and peaceful way. If your mind says they have moved on, replace it with, there is still a connection that is aligning naturally. You are not forcing reality. You are choosing what kind of energy you want to send and experience. Your words matter just as much as your thoughts, even the words you say silently in your mind. Every word carries energy, and repeated words turn into beliefs. If you keep repeating negative statements, your mind starts accepting them as truth. And once your mind believes something, your emotions and actions start aligning with it. This is how negative cycles are created and maintained. So be careful with how you speak about them, even internally. If you speak with anger, frustration, or blame, you strengthen those emotions. If you speak with calmness, understanding, and respect, you shift the entire emotional dynamic. This is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about choosing the kind of energy you want to create moving forward. If you ever feel like you don't know what to think or your mind keeps going back to negativity, keep it simple. Don't try to control every thought. Just wish good for them. Think about their happiness, their safety, their healing. This kind of energy is pure, and does not create resistance. It removes pressure from the connection and allows things to flow more naturally. At the same time, something important starts happening within you as well. As you become more aware of your thoughts and start correcting them, your mind becomes quieter. The constant overthinking starts reducing because you are no longer feeding it. Your emotional state becomes more stable, and you feel less anxious about the situation. This inner calmness is not just beneficial for you, it also changes the energy you project outward. You start developing a stronger self-image because you are no longer telling yourself stories of rejection or loss. Instead, you begin to see yourself as someone who is in control of their thoughts and emotions. This shift makes you feel more confident and grounded. And when you feel that way, others can sense it, even without direct interaction. One of the biggest transformations you will notice is emotional independence. You still care about the person, but you are not dependent on their actions to feel okay. You don't feel the urge to constantly check your phone or analyze every small detail. You're not waiting for them to validate your worth. And this kind of energy is extremely attractive because it is calm, stable, and self-assured. Consistency is what turns this from an idea into a real shift. You cannot do this for 1 or 2 days and expect everything to change instantly. Your mind has built habits over time, and those habits need to be replaced gradually. If you keep going back to negative thinking, you will keep getting the same results. But if you stay consistent with awareness, interruption, and replacement, your energy will start changing in a noticeable way. It is also important to understand that this is not about controlling the other person. You are not trying to force them to think about you or come back to you. What you are doing is changing the energy dynamic between you and them. You are removing pressure and replacing it with calmness. You are shifting from neediness to balance, and that creates a space where connection can naturally rebuild. As this shift continues, you may start noticing small changes. They might randomly think about you, remember moments you shared, or feel curious about what you are doing. These changes may not be immediate or obvious, but they begin internally before they show externally. This is how energy works. It moves quietly before it becomes visible. Over time, these small internal shifts can lead to external actions. But even before that happens, you will notice a big difference within yourself. You will feel more peaceful, more in control, and less affected by the situation. And that alone is a powerful transformation. At its core, this entire process comes down to one simple principle. What you give is what you get. Not just through actions, but through thoughts and words as well. If you keep sending negativity, you will experience more negativity. If you choose positivity, you will start experiencing a different reality. So instead of focusing on the fact that they are not talking to you anymore, focus on what you are sending to them every single day. Use this silence as an opportunity to clean your energy instead of feeding your fears. Become aware of your thoughts, correct them when needed, and replace negativity with something better. Because even if they are not speaking to you right now, it does not mean you are not on their mind. And when you start using your energy the right way, you won't have to chase their attention. You will naturally become someone they start thinking about again, without force, without pressure, and without even realizing why. I hope this helped you. I will meet you with another golden nugget. Happy manifesting.